Hi, Maria Eduarda. Welcome. Hello. I don't know. Should we start, Sean?
Yes. Am I sharing a screen right now?
No, you're not.
I'm just confused. Okay, I'm good. I'm back, I think. Sorry, I wanted to put the link here. This is should be the WhatsApp group. Yeah. I just put the link to the WhatsApp group in the chat here.
Oh, and perfect.
Share the code on the screen here. Good morning, guys. Taku, and good evening.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You can put your audio in so everyone can hear the chime. We have an interesting chime for the start and end of classes. I was going to mention too that it's very cold here this morning. Last I saw it was about 2 degrees. Perhaps it's warmed up a little bit since then. Yes, but we're getting into winter here. What is your temperature there in Ouro Preto?
I think maybe 20 degrees, so it's not cold at all. I remember 2 degrees. The first time I saw 2 degrees in my life was in Belgium, and I am very used to use slippers here in Brazil for every place I go, and I tried to use there, and my fingers almost froze in the path in order to the market, you know.
Yes. Right. Very cold. So it does not get that cold where you are?
No, never. Maybe 10 degrees maximum.
Wow. And Rafael, I've forgotten, where are you actually? Are you?
I'm in the city where the fish stops.
That's right. Yeah, I'd forgotten.
Piracicaba. In Tupi-Guarani means, which is the native, sort of general native language before Portuguese arrived, so to speak. Is Piracicaba means the place where the fish stops. So the river here across the city, part of it is sort of like a rapids, you know, and then those rapids turn into pretty quiet water, and that spot where the water gets pretty quiet, that's where the fish goes to lay their eggs, where they reproduce. So it's a pretty magical, mystical place to the native people, because that's where the fish reproduce, and you can't fish today here. You can't fish across across the extension of the river within the city. If you go further away, of course, you can fish, but here, close to this spot where they reproduce, you can't fish. Because otherwise, you catch the babies.
Yes.
Do you think we can start? What do you think?
Okay, that sounds great.
So hi everyone. I'm Professor Rodrigo from the Federal University of Ouro Preto. I'm a philosophy professor specialized in logic and metaphysics, and also in application of technologies inside education. We are here in a partnership between our three universities, Ryukoku University, UFOP University, the Federal University of Rio Preto, and UNIMAX Unifage, that is the university of our professor here, Rafael Martins. We started last week a series of two classes that we want to improve to outside this place. We are talking about this later, but we started this with Professor Sean White from Ryukoku University that gives a very interesting class about artificial intelligence. And now we are going to have a class about the ethics of artificial intelligence with Professor Rafael Martins from UNIMAX Unifage. I hope you all can enjoy this class. I hope you also can engage in the activities we are going to propose to you. This time we're going to propose some written activities in order to facilitate the flow between Japanese students and Brazilian students. And I think I already talked too much. And please, Professor Rafael, you have the word.
Wow. I'm impressed. I couldn't make a better introduction myself. Thank you so much, Rodrigo. Good morning, everyone, and good evening, everyone. So I plan to talk about ethics of AI. But from the get-go, I must say that most ethics of AI courses are much more based on traditional ethics than ethics of AI, properly speaking. So it's still pretty hard to find a singular book or singular particular manual or handbook you can follow through with all the particular moral problems regarding AI and what are the possible approaches and all. So it's still in the very beginning, as you all know. So I planned the class this way, this lecture in this way. So so I want to flip it. Instead of first introducing all the moral theories, there are 5 pure moral theories we use to evaluate the ethics of AI, whether whatever we are doing with AI is right or wrong. So instead of starting with the traditional moral theory, I want to first start with a summary of all the most recognized moral problems regarding AI. All right. So I'm going to just start backwards, sort of, so to speak, regarding what people usually do. And in that sense, you are part of an experiment because it's the first time I'm doing that in that way. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. And so first, I'm going to talk about this, make this summary of all the moral problems, and then I'm going to go back to the particular moral theories. And in the end, let me see if this is working fine. Yes, it is. So this one I'm showing you right now, called From Code to Conscience, was a gentle suggestion from the AI I was using to do this. But I have uploaded 3 files here. So you have one is what I'm calling summary of ethical problems, and the file itself is the one From Code to Conscience, where I summarize all the ethical problems regarding AI. Then I have another file right here called the structure of moral reasoning. However, it messed up. Google Drive somehow messed up the file. So I'm gonna have to go back to PowerPoint at this whenever I get here. So I will see what I can do to fix this. Maybe it's just how I'm presenting here, or the file should be fine. I'm not sure. I just know that once I uploaded here, it got kind of messed up. So I'll have to see what I'm gonna do. But for the class, I'm gonna use the PowerPoint itself. And then I have also here a incredibly short but interesting article I've been using in my couple of last semester teaching this topic, which is called "The Emotional AI is No Substitute for Empathy." And it's super short from the Wired magazine. And it talks pretty quickly about some things it would take me or many more classes and lectures to organize, and it's very nicely put here. Okay, so this is an article we don't have to really go through together. I would propose this for the students to work on this article and apply on reading this article figure, because this article contains more than just one moral problem, two or three depending on their perspective. So maybe they could pick one moral problem regarding AI within this topic, within this article, and then apply this structure I'm providing here, the conceptual theoretical structure. Okay. So this would be some sort of homework, or still for class if there's time. Okay. So let's go to the moral problem. If you want to ask anything or any questions, if you have any doubts, clarifications, whatever, please just stop me, okay? I don't know if this is showing okay for you. Is it? Can you see well my slides here? Yeah? Okay. So these slides are also me learning how to use AI. It's I think the first or second time I use AI to make PowerPoint slides. Just so I use Notebook LM. People are talking about saying that Notebook LM is supposed to outrun ChatGPT. It's supposed to be better and stronger than ChatGPT, Notebook LM. I'm not sure, but I found it better for particular. So like this presentation, I think it was nice. So this journey is in three parts. So when we explore the ethics of AI, from its immediate effects on our world to the fundamental nature of intelligent systems, and finally to the philosophical questions that shape the future. So we can divide these problems in three categories: the social impact right now, the immediate effects, the nature of the machine, the nature of the robots, are they agents or not, and the philosophical frontiers, a lot about hypothesizing. This one was hard, Sean. Thinking about what will be the world in the near or long-term future once all these technologies are in full throttle. All right. Just before I continue, there was one particular I read a particular interesting article on Financial Times about the battle between China and US on how can I say, being the most powerful nation in the world. And it says that US might be, but the author is not sure, US might be committing a mistake because they are betting all their cards, all their money on AI, betting that AI will be like a particular big step that will make the whole difference in a very general, very, how can I say, generalized, very applicable to many different contexts. And in this way, they think they're going to be a step ahead of China. But China instead is diversifying its investments, and they are investing in solar energy panels or other forms of solar energy, batteries for cars, for phones, for whatever you need batteries. So China has a much more diversified scope of investment or bets, cards in this game. So pretty interesting. All right, so moving forward. First is the social impact. What is going on right now as we use these new technologies. So one of them is the privacy and surveillance. How do we protect human dignity and freedom? And one of the reasons I'm doing this first is because this order is supposed to create curiosity about, okay, so what is dignity and what is freedom after all? What do you guys understand as human dignity? But first, we unload a huge number of conceptuals in theoretical stuff on students about dignity and freedom, and then we go to this problem. So first, let's use these words and see what they mean later. So AI, then the use of AI may limit in harmful ways human freedom, since it has this sort of unprecedented power to collect and analyze personal data. So, for example, all the app here in Brazil, I don't know about Japan, but here in Brazil, you have a bunch of pharmacy, drugstores apps, and they're connected to the supermarket app. They're connected to a gas station app, and all those together give you points, so that as you score more points, you get discounts at the stores. So that's an incentive for you to download and use the app. But then those companies use all that valuable data about you and your everyday life and sells that for whoever is willing to buy that kind of information, like what kind of medicine you buy, how often you put gas in your car, and etc. So AI amplifies the surveillance capabilities like never before, much beyond government actors. And some corporations and individuals might have that power, even if they don't have that alone, like in one particular individual, like, I don't know, Elon Musk. Still, it's a very few people in control of that. This mass data collection enables these personal profiles, challenging the right to be let alone. But more important than that, I think, is all the things you lose once you are not let alone. And these digital ecosystems are designed to turn our data into economic value, which is, I just gave the example. These drugstores, gas stations using the data about your life for selling that to other companies. So these are, of course, create inherent conflicts of privacy rights. Sure, when you download and use the app, it asks you, do you agree with the terms and conditions of this app? But we all know nobody reads those, right? Nobody reads, so we don't care. We prefer that discount right away over the counter. Next, I'm going kind of fast because it's a lot of stuff. So the manipulation of behavior, everyone here is pretty used to that because we all use social networks every day, like Facebook or Instagram. I don't know which one is more popular in Japan, but these systems like recommendation algorithms and target content can shape our decisions without our full awareness. We all live that every day now. Sean, what does nudging mean here? This nudging can potentially undermine individual autonomy. It's like pushing.
Sorry, yeah, my mic was off. Yes, kind of pushing, kind of gently pushing.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And so these are very powerful influence mechanisms, and everybody's looking after some sort of responsible design, even though no one's quite sure yet what that would be. I think it's kind of funny sometimes how these things are so uncertain, So here is another word from moral theory, moral philosophy. Where is it? Consent, informed consent. One more. Where is it? Here, autonomy. So we got freedom, we got autonomy, we got privacy. Okay. Bias in decision systems. So these systems are made by humans, even though they obviously can think faster and think with much more data, but they are not different in nature, so to speak, let's say, yet. So they replicate and even amplify sort of some historical and social biases, because the very bibliography the AI is going to survey is itself inherently biased and historically driven to right, south, east, right, to all the sides. So history, the data itself has these biases. So some sort of, let's say, unaware AI might replicate these historical mistakes and social biases. So AI systems learn from data. This data itself has these problems. So the AI is just going to inherit those problems and amplify those. What else? Yes. So if these AI are using biased data for hiring or for criminal justice, for example, or for loan applications, they might inherit those prejudices, those biases, and affect people without them even knowing. And they might even be unprofitable for the companies using those technologies, because it might, let's say, refuse a black family for a loan application, and that family happens to be billionaire, because they are just less, but they exist. So that might be even unprofitable. What else? Let me see this one. Yeah, people are working on these to see what can be done this particular regard. I don't know when it's coming. It's not here. Maybe it's not explicitly said somewhere. Let me see. Might be this one. Let's see. The automation and employment. So as AI automates tasks once done by humans, how do we ensure just an equitable transition for society? So that part of we've been talking about technology replacing humans in different functions since the construction of the pyramids. So that's not new. I think, and that sort of seems to be, I'm just optimistic about this. I'm sort of optimistic about like the job market changing and transitioning to new functions and taking people from, I don't know, grocery store cashiers to other more interesting things. I'm not sure about that, but since that seems to me to be such an old, ancient movement, I'm not super worried about it. I'm more worried about the other one here, which says, let me see, where it says income inequality. Not yet. What I want.
Rafael,
Yes.
did you know that I saw a professor from UCLA in Ethereum, Brazil this year? I gave a talk there, and he was just at my side giving a talk too. And he was saying that he was building some experiments inside UCLA of developing companies, that the CEO of a company is an AI agent, and this AI agent that is the CEO talks with other AI agents, that each one of these agents, one is the one that deals with law, the other one with commerce, the other one with logistics. And when he talked to me about this, I got scary because I thought, oh my God, he can know a company that is no single employee, that
Yes, it's
is no
entirely AI.
no human. And I think maybe this can happen very fast, and maybe faster than the people can rebuild themselves from
Sure. Yes, yes.
from working in a supermarket
No,
to be an AI developer, prompt developer, you know.
sure, sure. Well, they can play the violin, but yes, I get it. I get it. It's generational. It's pretty hard to make that happen within one singular generation, like one person in the family, like the father, the bread. How do you say, Sean? The owner, bread owner. Is it
And
Sorry,
it's hard.
breadwinner.
breadwinner?
And
Bread
it's
owner,
harder, and
Jesus.
it's harder than in other times, because in previous times we were talking about instruments development of instrument. Then we talked about being a piece, let me say, in the industry, and maybe the functions people had to do there
Yeah.
were not so sophisticated. But now functions are being very sophisticated, and each time
Sure.
faster. And I don't know. First, I don't know if jobs and employment it will be something that should matter to us. I don't know if all people should be employed in order to have money and spend money, because we will have, I think, very few jobs available for people. So I don't know if there will be jobs for everyone. And
Yeah.
maybe this puts a real problem. That is, what should we do with AI? Should we let them replace and make another economic system that can allow these non-employed people to live, or we should let things go wild? I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I was just saying that this this thing about the jobs, this particular, very focused perspective, doesn't seem to me, Rafael, such a huge thing. I think there are other let's put it this way, there are other priorities, I think, and one of them to me pretty important, and maybe maybe they are the same. I don't know. What I was gonna say is that these technologies, like for example, this company which is entirely AI made, whoever is setting that up, whoever is the human owner of that company, sure in that case is UCLA, but suppose it's Elon Musk. So these AIs are how can I say the word is missing here?
In
They are
Portuguese, it's fine.
increasing the economic inequality because they have
Yes, they are.
many more
Whoever
ways
owns
and much.
whoever owns AI owns the capacity to build companies entirely by themselves, without the need of employees, unless humans are needed somewhere in the process. But if we are dealing, for example, with software, I don't need humans. I can have AI agents to make marketing, to make software development,
No.
to
But
make everything, to make the distribution plan. I am the only
no,
human
Rodrigo,
behind
no.
that.
I'm talking about the human beings behind it, because
Yes,
if you create
just
this
the owner,
company,
just the
if
owner.
yes, that's what I'm saying. And this particular person is going to be way wealthier than everybody else because they own
Mhm.
that technology and so on and so forth. So these AIs, let's take a much easier case. if you take two students studying for pass entrance exams to the university, one with the means of to use AI, the other doesn't have even internet signal. The one with AI has much more probabilities of getting in college. So that's what I'm saying with the use of AI, but in the larger scale of the companies. Whoever owns the companies is like the wealthy student, having
Yes,
a better opportunity.
And because the companies will not use humans as employees, we have to deal with something incredible, that we will have few people that controls the economy and have a large amount of resources going to themselves, but
Mhm.
we have a lot of people without jobs, and so they do not have a way in order to receive any form of income, and they have to buy things. So,
I see. I know.
so AI puts a problem for us. That is a problem on the employment that is very serious, because we don't know how to solve that in a acceptable time.
Yes. Okay.
But
So
sorry, go on, please.
no, no, no. Let's move on because let's see. That's a lot of stuff. I don't know what time are we supposed to end. I am supposed to end.
Around
Let's see.
10:45, 11.
Ah. Okay. So all
Our
right.
our class has
So
an hour.
yeah. Fine. Okay. Good. So we are on time. So the
We're good.
opacity of AI systems. This one is one I have a friend who works on this topic, but I am not very the best person to talk about this. But insofar as I understand, my studies shown me, there's some problem about the decision making logic of these AI systems is often inaccessible even to their own developers. So there is some sort of black box nature here of nobody knowing what's going on in there and how come that solution comes out.
Yeah, you
um,
have the neural network, and you know the inputs, you know the outputs, but you don't know how the neural network gives you that answer instead of another one. So that is a problem of opacity. That we know that there are answers, and a large part of these answers are correct, but we don't have explicability for that. We don't know why they are correct, and this puts a problem to our own epistemology, because are they producing knowledge? Is that knowledge? Is there any knowledge that we don't have explicability for it? How to define knowledge then? So that is a deep problem for our epistemology. And if the machine like this puts us a moral sentence, and some we don't know how to understand, even how to understand the production of the moral sentence from the machine, given we don't know how it produces knowledge. So I think morality, it's even harder than normal propositional knowledge.
yeah, I was looking here for a video this friend of mine made for YouTube talking about this black box problem and comparing it to other
But
um,
what do you think
fields
it
of
brings
decision.
to ethics? What are the problems you think this lack of explicability, this black box thing, in the work of the present AI systems? What do you think it can bring to our reflection on ethics?
Well, um, if you don't know how it works, you don't know how to fix it, and how can you trust it? Um,
Faith, perhaps.
yeah, it's a leap of faith. Yeah, that's what that
Yes.
friend of mine says.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of a leap of faith. Because if people say, let's suppose there's some coincidence there, I'm not philosopher of physics here, but let's suppose there's some coincidence there. What about a coincidence between dance rain or rain dance and raining? You know, it's kind of the same thing.
Right.
It's
More or less.
perplexing.
We have. Sorry. Go on.
No. Well, I think there is a problem of transparency, but I think, I mean, since you don't know how it works or how it achieved such decision, it might be problematic. So if it's a decision like a judiciary decision, you need to know which of the particular, how can I say, um, all the facts and legal principles and etc. that were mustered into produce the conclusion.
Although we have a reflection here, that is, do we know how humans think? Are humans opaque too?
Yes, and that's why there's some people like Jason Brannon, that philosopher, politics, talks about right wing stuff. He wrote a book about instead of electing humans, use a computer to run the city as a mayor, for example, or as a president of the country. And he argues why, and it's
And,
pretty
and, and,
convincing.
and and I'm seeing here something very cool that you're going to talk about human robot interaction. This makes me think about how, if and how can a AI be a moral agent, or if not a moral agent, a moral patient. Or maybe because of the opacity problem, or maybe because we think AI does not have the necessary freedom. I don't know. What do you think about the morality of AI systems? That should we think them as moral agents, as moral patients, or just instruments? How should we think about them, and which criteria should we follow? Some Turing test, or what do you think?
You mean for what exactly?
No, I'm just asking you about how are your thoughts about if AI systems are or will be moral agents, moral patients, or nothing, of this.
So far, some neuroscientists, which are prestigious, and I am supposed to deduce they are trustworthy, say that our AI is nothing near, it's nowhere near becoming a real agent as we are. Um,
What should it be
but
needed for an AI to be a moral agent? What do you
yes,
think? And
that's
sorry, maybe I'm
no.
talking too
You're
much
bringing up good
about the
questions.
presentation. Yeah, but
No, you're
maybe
bringing up
you
good
will
questions.
are going to get there. I don't know. Sorry if
No,
I.
I'm not gonna say anything. I mean, the question whether AI or robots, let's call them robots. Robots can be agents is one particular more problem applied to AI, about which people are writing PhDs right now and master theses
Of
and so on and
course.
so forth. So I don't know. I don't think I think it's not yet there. However, I made an experiment with a student of mine in class, and it was like a Socratic maieudics, like you go like a Socratic dialogue, you keep asking questions and as making objections in terms of ask questions.
As a Socratic
And
meiotics.
I was comparing a human function from the point of view of functionality. Um, you talking to a human and you talking to an AI, super hyper developed, and looking and so I was able to, of course, he was a student, I'm a teacher, so of course there's some sort of distance between us. But I was able to lead him to conclude that functionally, from the point of view of functionality, all the uses he had for a human were the same. The AI was how can I say, was living up to his demands, which were the same demands to a human. So regardless of whatever the nature of that agent talking to him was, he was getting the same stuff he needed, which was some sort of talking to him and listening to him and providing options, advice, whatever. So
Hi, Rafael. Did you see the
yes, I
observation?
saw.
Nice.
That's one of the neuroscientists I had in mind when I said I am supposed to trust them. It's just that guy is pretty, this Nicolelis, he's highly, how do you say, controversial. You know, he won't step back from a fight, so he's always in trouble. Academic trouble, personal trouble, but he's pretty respected. I mean, I must trust him. So he says he has a funny video interview. He says AI is neither intelligent nor artificial. Great, great point. So that's the one I had in mind. So if the human robot interaction, so to a pretty large degree, I think it's just. Let me give you this quick example. 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, we were talking about AI and at KU, and we were talking about things AI would never do. And I said poetry and music. And man, right
I will say a
now,
lot. They were the first things, maybe.
the internet is fraught with good music. If you go on YouTube, there's a bunch of great music AI made. Great stuff like funk and James Brown style, or Bruno Mars. Great lyrics, great composition. I've been listening to AI made music for a week now, and they are great. But is there something missing? Tough question, you know? Why do I prefer James Brown? Why would James Brown's music be more valuable than the AI made music I was being listening these days? Well, the first idea comes to my mind is the life behind the music, it's the life of the man. Man, James Brown was arrested, was in prison. The man is, a legend. So if like him or not, but there are many philosophers about who study, in the field of aesthetics, who will argue that there's nothing behind the artwork. It's just the artwork itself. You shouldn't think about whoever is the artist, whoever is the author. It doesn't matter whether it was Hitler or,
But even if
Mother
you think,
Teresa.
but even if you think about the story in that, supposedly we could have a robot and put an AI inside and make him or it pass through a certain rock star history in order
Yes.
for the music to have value. So maybe value
Yes.
has something to do with humanity or history itself, and maybe it does not need to be a human. I don't know. Just,
Yes.
just just putting some ideas here and making the devil's advocate.
Yes. And for that, there are two movies you can watch. It capitalizes on this idea. One is the famous Matrix, because you can be things in the Matrix. You can simulate different walks of life while you are in the Matrix. But one particular movie, way earlier than Matrix, who deserves more credit nowadays is that one with Arnold Schwarzenegger that he goes to Mars. He purchases this program that he's a spy. I need to find this movie, man. Total Recall. Total Recall. Total Recall. It's much. They had the idea of the Matrix much before the Matrix. So in there, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a spy while he's in there. So he purchases the program. I want to be a spy. So it's similar. It's similar. It's not the same. So you could have a person simulate a person who has experienced all that.
Can I add one more example
Sure.
of something for people to watch? That is an episode from Love, Death, and Robots. That is a very interesting series called Zima Blue. That is an episode about a robot that started cleaning the pool and becomes each time more conscient and intelligent. In a certain moment, he starts to make art, and people start to appreciate its art. And I will not tell the end, but it talks about this nature of the art and of the mind, of the development of the mind, and if this is interesting or not interesting from the view of the machine. So it might be interesting to watch this episode from Love, Death, and Robots. Sorry, Rafael, keep going.
No problem. No, stop asking sorry. It's okay. Being sorry. Don't be sorry. I was gonna say. So to that question about whether AI made music is or is not more valuable than James Brown's music, and me saying the answer might be the real life of James Brown, right? The real life of whoever artist you admire, versus AI, and there is this mysterious, incredibly. It's one of the most incredible points in philosophy, to my taste, called the experience machine, from philosopher Robert Nozick. It is a super compelling argument about why life in the machine is not as valuable as life outside the machine or of the matrix. So the machine there means the matrix. It's just that he wrote that much before the movie, and the Wachowski brothers, now actually sisters, they want to be called sisters now. Wachowski sisters, they read that stuff and they used it. So in this article, it's a particular argument within his book. I think I forgot the name of the book. It's his most famous book, Robert Nozick. And there he argues
Philosophical explanations.
No. It's the one about political philosophy.
Oh, okay.
I forgot. It's like the arch enemy of John Rawls. So you have John Rawls' theory of justice, anarchy, utopia, and freedom, I think.
State, anarchy, states, and utopia.
Yes, that one. Thank you. So you have these two books, they are arch enemies. And in that book, Robert Nozick, the enemy of John Rawls, he argues against utilitarianism. And in order to show that utilitarianism is wrong, he makes this argument called the experience machine. So he asks us to imagine we are in this machine and to imagine whether we think our life there in the machine would be as valuable as if we were outside the machine. And everybody concludes, yes, outside is much better. So it seems to me, I mean, if I had to start studying that right now, I would start here. But in the beginning, I said a mysterious argument, because the genuine reasons why people prefer to be outside the machine, it's hard to pinpoint. It's hard to nail down. It's really hard to say what it is. So I suggest students, everyone, I mean, Sean, I don't know, if you are willing to, if you want to know more about this, it's an incredibly rich debate. Tons of stuff written about this particular argument, and I love it. So I would start my study for my answer for why James Brown's music is more valuable based on this. But then I don't know where this would lead me to. We'll have to see. All right. Okay. So let me see what else. About being moral agents. So for a long time, philosophers debated about what consciousness is, and many people made an industry out of this. And David Chalmers is famous, for example, is super famous because he says it's consciousness. But the concept of consciousness, I've seen here and there, people are beginning to sort of drop it because they think it's troublesome of a concept. So they seem to be going other directions now, since consciousness is something pretty weird. Nobody knows what it is exactly. I studied this long ago, so I'm not pretty updated on this topic. All I know for now is that whatever it is that makes us agents and robots not agents, I would say philosophers are not very, there's no consensus about what that would be beyond the old and ancient idea of humans being rational. But then it just takes us to the next class when we have to define what being rational is. So it doesn't take us very far. So
And machine seems a little bit more rational than us,
yes,
maybe.
they might be more rational than us, at least in some regards. Maybe not in others, but yes. So I just would say, man, you have to pick your card and hope for the best. If you think it's consciousness, go for it. If you think it's freedom or autonomy or um, spontaneous emergence of qualia, I don't know. Okay. Next, autonomous systems is the one we just talked about, whether these machines are autonomous and or whether they are not. And after all, what it is autonomy? What autonomy is, better saying. Nobody knows. Some people even claim that we have no such a thing as autonomy. We are just driven by whatever stronger, more powerful force drives us. Many people claim it's just biology. Some people claim it's God. Some people say it's Satan, even, right?
And maybe if we get the Kantian concept of autonomy as the capacity to establish rules and follow your own rules, it seems the autonomous systems could do that. We could provide them rules. They could interiorize these rules, and they would act according to the rules. So in this sense, they would be autonomous, and in some other sense too, in the sense that in a certain particular situation, for example, as autonomous vehicles, the vehicles will have to take a decision in order what to do. For if we take a trolley problem for this kind of thing, we have an autonomous car that is driving, and if it does nothing, it will pass through 5 people and kill 5 people. If he decided to crush into the wall, it will kill the passenger. And he could also turn right and maybe kill just one person. What should the autonomous vehicle decide. And this decision is an autonomous decision. In which sense should we attribute responsibility to the autonomous car, or should we attribute responsibility to the CEO of the company, or to the developers, or to the designers? Who is the focus of the responsibility? Who should be liable concerning this kind of autonomous systems?
True. And since even philosophers don't know quite yet what should be the answer, or what are, let's say, the best scope of answers, whenever these technologies are sort of ready and the lobbyists start to push for legislation, the politicians themselves, they don't know. They don't know what to do. They don't know because they themselves don't know the answer to that. So how are
We should
going to
provide
write
the answers, I
laws?
think.
What?
We should provide the answers as philosophers, I think, for them.
Sure, I
Because
agree.
they
So, for
don't know. They
example,
don't know.
the philosophy of the bioethics of abortion, you have like tons and tons and billions of terabytes of stuff written on the ethics of abortion. So it's something that legislators, if they need, how can I say, they need data, they need bibliography. There's a lot of stuff out there. But if you need data and bibliography about AI legislation, there isn't. Most of it is in English at this right now. So pretty
No,
tough.
but not the legislation, but we should think, I think, about moral responsibility. We were talking about AI being moral agents or moral patients or nothing at all. So, but when we talk about autonomous systems, as the systems that are present in vehicles, we have to take the question about a moral responsibility beyond. If the moral responsibility cannot be attributed to the car itself, to the system itself, to the AI, because maybe AI is not a moral agent, what should we do? Who is the focus of them? Not just the legal liability, but the moral responsibility. Who is moral responsible for the damage that instrument is doing? We don't know. It's difficult to say. Should we accept a theory where we split responsibility according to the roles of each one, or should we make some kind of a government, public government of AI, in order to put this to drive the responsibility back to the population or to the politicians? What should we do? I don't know how to think moral responsibility in this particular case, and cases analogs to these ones, you know.
Okay, so moving to, let's see, what else? Well, all I was saying is that the answer for this question, there isn't yet much bibliography. So if legislators needed to study a little about the laws they're about to write, they won't find much stuff to read, as much as there is, for example, about abortion. That was just my point. Okay, so the philosophical frontier, let me see here. Just trying to remind myself what I did here. Well, this is just what we were talking about. Is it possible? So we already made the discussion about this one. If it's possible to build AI that acts ethically, and what would that even mean? So take that as done. The understanding why there's this stuff about black box, but even if there is the particular problem of black box, insofar as they mention all the facts they've used to issue the decision, it doesn't seem too bad as compared to actual reality now. So, but I want to move to this one, the singularity and existential risk. I have no idea why this concept of singularity is called singularity. I don't know. The idea is that there is a point, maybe it's because it will be a singular point. And there will be a singular point, for now it's a hypothesis, where AI grows stronger, more powerful, and outgrows or outruns human intelligence in an uncontrollable, irreversible, resulting in an intelligence explosion. It doesn't have to be that dramatic. Insofar, an AI is proven to be how can I say? What would be the best word, Sean? More powerful, more.
I think maybe this singularity point is maybe some kind of passage from a point where AI can do only with syntax. From a point where we can do with semantics too, because something people say a lot is that AI cannot think because it can only process things syntactically and cannot understand the semantics behind this. And if we have a singularity point, a point where the AI intelligence becomes so powerful, it could maybe decide things by itself or develop certain knowledge about things. It seems that if this point of singularity will happen, it will happen in a way, in this passage from syntax to semantics. I don't know for sure, but it seems for me that this is because it is a singularity point, because from the time that the AI can understand what it's saying, the intelligence will grow a lot. It will be able to think about many other things. It for now can only present us interesting probabilistic data, but it will present us real thoughts. So, and this could be very dangerous, because if we have a super intelligent like this that is able to think, to decide, and if we allow this intelligence to control many of our machines, this will be an existential risk, because if it decides or thinks that we should be eliminated, maybe we should, and it will act accordingly for us to be destroyed. So it could pose an existential risk if we do not first code well enough, and if it passed through the singularity point, we don't know what can happen. So it's very dangerous, I think.
For this point in particular, not sure whether it's this one, this video here from Nick. It's not this one, but it's from Nick Bostrom. He has another one shorter, just 16 minutes. Just a sec. This one. What happens when our computers get smarter than we are? Okay. And this one's pretty good too. The end of that's the one I was talking about. The end of humanity. But they are pretty much similar. It's just that this one is a little more focused on singularity. This one is just about existential risk. I suggest watching both. All right. So Rodrigo is helping me to cover this stuff. It's covered. Ha! So great. I think we are done with this. Time to if you want to ask anything about this particular presentation, doubts, comments, whatever.
What do you think about the question here, Gustavo put in the chat about moral responsibility, free will? Why do we need moral responsibility in AI cases? If we don't have free will, and if we do, please, Rafael, how
I'm looking for the question.
here in the
Where is it?
chat, the last question of the chat here
Yes, but
in
for some
the
reason the
in our
chat's not
meet.
showing to me.
Uh, the question is that moral responsibility is a huge problem, but why do we even have it? This also relates to the problem of free will.
Mm. Yeah. I think we need a friend of ours, Rodrigo and mine, who works on free will, whether free will exists or not. Um, Look, people who work on moral theory, ethicists who work on especially normative ethics, uh, up to pretty recent, I don't know right now, but until yesterday, they work with free will as a given because if there's no free will, then there's no moral agency because then there's no responsibility, and responsibility is required for moral agency. For you to be, how do you say, held as right or wrong, um, you need to be. The word's not coming. Um, for blame, for praise, for um, for any moral judgment we make on people's actions. Uh, Accountable. Ha, got it. They needed to be accountable for them. That's why children are not, because they are not fully autonomous or fully free or fully rational, nor are people with dementia. So um, uh,
But
I lost my train of thought.
accountability needs
Accountability. Yeah. So people need to be truly accountable. If they are not truly accountable, then there is no ethics, basically speaking. Very basically speaking. Sure, we could talk about meta ethics and say, well, there's some like limited room for let's not say free will, but open decisions, choice between a certain number of options available. Let's say, I'm trying to be like the most reductionist about freedom here. So, I mean, let's just work with the most reductionist um, concept of autonomy here, and assume people have it. So that's what we need. I mean, if we have been doing ethics for for centuries, just assuming people have some degree of option, right? Um, that's what we need to then move on with assuming whether AI
This
has
is
agency or not.
interesting. This is interesting because, for example, war drones, they have a certain code that determine what they are going to think, but they made decisions from themselves, from the data they are collecting from the environment, and they decide to shoot or not to shoot according to the data they are getting in the environment. And this is interesting because they have the possibility of choosing to shoot or not to shoot. And they make a
Yeah,
decision. Are they more responsible for the decision? The drones, the AI drones?
no, because then if you go to Kantian deontology, if you use Kant's ethics, he's going to say that he's just choosing between different means of achieving a particular goal, which is human given previously,
But
which is
aren't
win the
people the
war.
same? But are people the same? Because if the drone is not responsible, I have to ask the same kind of question that we were asking ourselves before. Who is responsible? The
Yes.
general, because the general did not decide for the shooting. He just told the people to turn on the drones that started their
But he decided
actions.
to go on war. He decided to go on war in first place. But that's doesn't even need to go that far.
Mm.
Can the drone say, "Hey, I'm tired of this war. This is wrong. I'm just leaving this. I'm just
But
going away."
but can really the soldier do this?
Yes, of course he can. It's
But he
desertion.
dies. But he
It's
dies.
desertion. He can even go to prison for that, but he can still go. He
So
can still
so you
think
you
about it.
you were telling me if the drone were able to desert, we would be able to attribute it moral responsibility. Is that it? Is that it?
I think it's a pretty good step in direction to that.
Cool.
I don't
Nice.
say
Nice.
it's the final
Got it.
cut,
Got it. Got it. Got it.
but it's a good step. All right, because Kurt's gonna say, look, choosing between means is not autonomy. Genuine autonomy is choosing between values or ends or goals of life. That's what's truly autonomous. What Sean is bringing up some good comments. Questions. I just can't see. They just show up and then disappear into oblivion.
Sorry, I was
can't
just
find the.
something that crossed my mind, of course, is that I know many humans are quite actually happy to avoid responsibility, to perhaps even
Sure,
outsource it.
sure.
And so I think with that, we mentioned, various kinds of either human or machine biases, and I think there's an assumption that human biases are still preferable to machine biases. I don't know, is that speciesism of sorts, or perhaps
Just because it's human, right?
yes,
Yes.
exactly, yeah,
Often
possibly.
in this debate, I think there is a lot of what my advisor calls PhD advisor table pounding because it's human. You know, that's it.
Yeah, it
Because it's
seems a
human.
kind of a speciesism, even more because our bias are not so easily solvable as maybe the bias inside the AI. Because if we have a collection of data that is biased and we put that to AI, okay, we can change that and put a better basis for them to look into it. So if we do not have a basis, we could solve the problem of the bias of this bias of the AI. But how to solve the human bias? We have to work person by person, and this may be very hard to solve. For example, in the political instance, when and people were going to vote. I think it's harder to solve a problem in the voting system and the bias people suffer when they are going to vote. It's harder to solve that than to solve a bias inside the dominion of data that the AI is going to use to get to an answer that I want. So Sean is bringing something very interesting here. That is maybe machine bias are easier to tackle, to deal with than human bias, and I agree, Sean.
Maybe.
Although it seems to me that human bias, as I put in the comments here, yeah, certainly we have in-group bias, I think, for for humans, for our own groups in general, right? But in this case, humans,
True,
perhaps. But
true.
also perhaps there's a higher degree of let's see, well, perhaps negotiable, that we can negotiate with humans, perhaps more easily, more naturally, at least, than with machines, perhaps.
No. No,
No,
you're being
no.
too optimistic, Sean. I think you're now you're being optimistic. No.
Gotcha. Let's
Um,
see.
I teach.
Yeah, I think we go to war to many things like this that
Yeah.
shows that we do not know how to negotiate. Sorry,
I teach
Rafael.
a course called Emotional Intelligence, which scientifically speaking is just regulation of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I teach emotional intelligence, the more I think people and robots are sort of, it's hard to tell which one is worse. I don't know.
This connects to Gustavo's comment, I think, or question in the chat, right?
I'm not being able to read the comments. I don't know why. I've been
asked,
using this app, this Google Meet for 5 years, and I can't find the chat.
Right. Let me read it. Yep.
Sorry. Go on, Sean.
Oh no, please, Rodrigo, go ahead.
No, Professor, what are your thoughts on the research that found our brains are active 500 milliseconds before we make a decision? How do we preserve our autonomy? Do you remember that study that shows that before we are conscious of our decision, our brain already sent the input, so it seems to show that we do not have free will. But what are your thoughts about that?
I'm thinking. I mean, philosophers ask questions, right? I mean, does that process require, in order to be autonomous, require full consciousness of it? Do you have to be fully conscious of the entire process of your decision, which you're never, but anyway, do you have to be fully conscious of each and every step of the entire process of your decision making for a particular, like you're buying a car? Are you entirely aware of all and every fact is influencing your decision? Of course not.
No, but we are generally aware of the
The most important
decision,
things.
of the decision itself,
Yes.
of
Yes.
we telling ourselves, "Oh,
Sure.
I will do this." Yeah.
Yes. Man, I don't know. I confess. I must confess. I never gave out the very nature of free will and in second degree autonomy much thought about what it is precisely and whether it exists or not. Just because my specialization always led me to, unless I chose to work on free will specifically, like our friend Pedro Merluci, I had to at some point take that as a given, sort of, in order to work with normative ethics and other stuff. So I confess, I'm not very knowledgeable about what are all the requirements, be them biological or conceptual, required in order to say that a particular decision is truly free.
And moral and a moral action, and that could be that we could trace the moral responsibility. For me, this is also very hard, but for me, it's because I don't believe in free will. But I would love for us to have moral responsibility, even though. So I end up by being a narrow theorist, and I believe that all the moral sentences are false. But I really think that we should try to build a way to create moral responsibility without depending on free will. That is a very debateful concept, and a kind of magic somehow.
Yes, it's a kind of magic, but and there's a song with that title from Queen. And but I was gonna say, look, you don't need. Look, if it's true, like truly true, that free will doesn't exist, man, open all the prisons right now. Because all the people convicted, they are convicted on the basis that they chose. I mean, the ones that, of course, there's the negligence. But if you take the direct actions like murder, murder is based on the. I mean, for you to convict someone of murder, you have to believe that he had an option not to commit murder.
No,
She
I
could
don't.
go
I don't
home.
think so. I think you can put people in jail because you as that people acted in some way. You don't want to participate in the society with that people, so you put them away because it represents some danger. Not because they did this, but he
Yes.
could done otherwise. No, he
Yeah.
could have done otherwise. But even though you don't want to live with that person anymore, you know.
Yes, but that's just one particular moral theory, and prisons and the legal system is based on a potpourri of
Yeah,
moral
it
theories.
is. It is.
So,
It
for
is.
example, if you say, "Oh, we detain people just because of the consequences," people are going to say, "No, it's because of autonomy, dignity, and etc., which has nothing to do with consequences." If you are a Kantian legal philosopher, so it's hard to say. But I think I'm just explaining why I, as an ethicist, I at some point gave away the question because I was like, well, I work just like the trials, just like the jury. I convict people as ethically wrong or ethically correct based on the assumption that they could have done differently. That's as far as I go in terms of what I have to do. But yes, I would like to, if eventually, work on and study more about what would be indeed my thoughtful answer for what would be this thing that is missing out. Is it freedom? Is it autonomy? Is it conscience? I don't know. And I think it deserves time to study a little more. And I confess I don't have a particular answer. I just go with the flow, which is to say, look, that's how people do in the jury. That's how people do in the legal systems. That's enough for me as an ethicist. Okay. But I know it's not a satisfactory answer. All right. Do I still have time to fly through ethics? What do you guys think?
Let's see. My students, unfortunately, have just about 10 minutes before some may have to get to their next classes.
If you want, I can just say what is on the presentation so they can study by themselves, if you like.
Very good. That sounds whatever you think's best. And
just so it doesn't stay there without any context.
And if you could put also in the classroom after
it is
that,
there.
in order for people to have it. Yeah,
it is already there. But when I uploaded it, it's for some reason Google messed up the design. It's all like crumbled. So
nice.
I don't know why. But the PowerPoint is here. So right now I'm just gonna share my PowerPoint and figure a way to upload a better archive file there.
Right. You're not sharing right now, right?
Yes, I'm gonna start right now.
Gotcha. Cool.
Okay. First time I do a presentation on Notebook LM. The other one was the second. So this was the first. So I talk here about what ethics is. Many people make a lot of confusions, and particular Brazilian professors of philosophy like to make confusion about what ethics is because they study the wrong philosophers. So here you have some definitions about what it is. I got the time. Then here I explain how ethics works. We evaluate actions, and I explain a little bit how actions are broken into the idea of means and goals. So the order is not the best, I realize now, because I'm going too fast. But here I explain what actions are. So actions are values plus principles plus the decision, and all this together is what we call actions. And to evaluate whether actions are right or wrong, we say they are means to imagined, idealized goals, which are the values themselves. The most popular values are these: freedom, equality, happiness, perfection, and rationality, or autonomy, or, oh, it's already here, sorry. So rational life, as Aquinas says, sorry. Because the others, they equalize rational life to autonomy. Aquinas doesn't. And then I have here the 5 moral theories divided in 3 frameworks. Framework 1, consequentialism, divided in 2. So it's 1 framework, 2 moral theories: utilitarianism and ethical egoism, and both are equally consequentialists. Then we have the Kantian the deontology. There are 2 Kantian deontology, which is super popular, which is the one that says autonomy and freedom is the basis of human dignity, and that's the supreme value that can never be violated. And you have also the Christian deontology, from Aquinas, and the other one in English is, I forgot, Aquinas and forgot. It's Christian as well. And so 4, and the 5th is the virtue ethics of Aristotle, based on the idea of perfection, and virtuous actions are those that seek human perfection. So in summary, what is the function of these theories? It's just to say which actions are right, which actions are wrong. So for example, for virtue ethics, right actions are those that seek perfection, and we call them virtuous actions, to enhance your virtues. That's what is the right thing to do in every situation. Now, if you are a Kantian deontologist, then you don't think about perfection, but you think about autonomy and freedom, and that being the base of human dignity. And whenever you think about whether actions are right or wrong, actions are right insofar they promote autonomy and never violate it. And if they violate autonomy, they are wrong. And for utilitarianism, for example, actions are right insofar as they produce the largest amount of happiness to the greatest number of people. And if they don't do that, they are wrong. So then in the end, basically what you have to do in applied ethics is to take those principles, you pick your favorite moral theory, and use that conceptual and theoretical structure to evaluate whether one of those uses of AI is morally right or morally wrong, according to that theory you have picked. That's how you do it in 10 minutes. Did I make it?
Looks good to me, yes.
Great. In time?
Yes, of course.
Good.
So then you advocate some kind of critical reflection then, based on clarifying whatever your moral perspective is, and then to determine whether certain uses of AI are acceptable or not. Is that it?
Yes. Yeah, you have to say, look, I think use of AI, this particular use of AI is wrong, is bad for us. And so why? Well, the reason why, I'm going to explain this reason based on virtue ethics. So this particular use hinders our human enhancement, our virtue. We become less virtuous people with the use of AI, let's say. So that would be morally wrong according to virtuous ethics. Or if a particular use of AI is not utilitarian-wise good, so it doesn't produce the largest amount of happiness for the largest number of people. So that use would be morally wrong according to utilitarianism. Or a particular use violates human autonomy for some reason. So that use is Kantian-wise wrong, you see. So you have to always pick a moral theory from one of those five and use those to show why a particular human action, be it in medicine, AI, engineering, journalism, whatever, is morally right or wrong. That's it. That's the game. That's how you do it. And you have to do it very compellingly, you know. That's it.
So then
And this is
clarifying
really
those
important.
moral foundations is important. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, they are the moral foundations of the critical reflection. Yes.
And this is very important, the theories, in order for you to evaluate the morality of AIs, because these moral theories are normative theories, as Professor Rafael told us. And this means that each one of them tries to tell us what is good, what is correct, the definition of good, the definition of correct. So you should choose one of them, or multiples, or many of them when you are evaluating, but you should provide one answer to each one you decide to evaluate it, because what you are saying with good or correct will differ according to the theory you choose. And it's not possible to choose all of them simultaneously, because they provide different definitions of good or correct. So you must choose before you proceed.
Because there's no consensus about what are the ultimate, or which is the ultimate human value. Some think it's liberty, some think it's equality, some think it's perfection. So we don't have a single moral theory to equally evaluate everything. So some people pick on one, some people pick on another, and then controversy arises, you know.
Right. I of course, we can say the same about culture as well. So
yeah. I like to use the analogy of the Indians and the elephant. They are touching the elephant, but they don't see the animal. And each one thinks it's a different animal, and they are asked to describe it because they don't get the whole part of the animal. So in moral theory, we are just, I think, I guess, I don't know, maybe we're just touching parts of a bigger theory which we don't know yet, you know. So it's like the elephant.
So then the description itself becomes important, perhaps, in you know, how we make that explicit and convey to others.
Yeah.
And
So, for example, Aristotle likes this stuff about perfection, right? And he thinks that the more we seek perfection, the happier we will be. And a lot of AI talk is about enhancement and perfecting systems. So it's in some ways, AI seems to foster virtue, but in some ways seems to hinder. Okay.
Yes.
I never remember.
Hinder. Yeah.
Hinder. Thank you.
You had it.
It's a hindrance for the development of virtue, right? Sometimes, maybe.
Yes. Well, great. Well, thank you for arranging all these materials for us to well, first of all, listen you to talk about this and discuss this with us here today. I think very important perspective. Not only we were talking about AI, but also just making the connection to culture, which is kind of the focus of the class that we have, is very similar to this as well. So I think we got two for the price of one today. So, thank you.
It was a pleasure, huge pleasure. Thank you so much.
Great. And I can stay a bit longer, but I know some of my students do have to run off to a next class. Unfortunately, I see Joe Taro's got a suit on. He might have even an interview or something today. So
if you guys want to talk to me afterwards, just go to the restroom. I will be back in a sec, okay?
Okay. Yep. Perfect. Sounds great.
And thank you very much for all of your students, Sean, for coming here. Thank you so much for being present and reflect and think about all these topics with us. We hope you could meet the other Brazilian students in the WhatsApp group that we are making, and we could develop some interesting written activities where you can join each other and maybe produce some interesting stuff Thank you
Yes.
so much.
That sounds great. Thank you. I'll just briefly say to my students, we have set up a WhatsApp group, and I'll tell you more about that the next time we meet. We'll meet on Thursday, and I can explain that in more detail. I'll put the details up on Monaba too, our LMS. Yeah. So thank
Guys,
you. I'll let them go. And again, thank you both, Professor Rafael today and Professor Rodrigo and your students for joining us, and a very good start, I think, to our collaborations that we want to develop more. So I'm glad that
great
we're able
pilot.
to get these this started with these lectures.
Yeah, great experience. I am
For me
pretty
too.
happy.
Thank you so much.
It was awesome.
Great, thanks. So yeah, my students, go ahead. If you got to get to your next class, you can go ahead and leave. And
we'll be right back.
Very
you
good.
too, Gustavo, if you want to go. Thank you so much for coming. Your presence was very noticed.
Yes, thank you for commenting
you
in the chat. It had me thinking of several things, so that was a great contribution today.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, Gustavo.
Thank you.